In a small, dusty garage on the edge of town, where broken cars were lined like forgotten dreams, worked a man named Samir. A humble mechanic with grease-stained hands and a heart full of quiet compassion, Samir lived a life of simplicity. His shop wasn't fancy, just a tin roof and concrete floor, but every nut and bolt in that garage held his passion. Samir had no family of his own. Orphaned young and raised in foster homes, he had learned early that life doesn't always hand you kindness, but that never hardened him. If anything, it made him gentler. One Tuesday morning, as Samir tightened the bolts under an old Suzuki Mehran, he heard the soft whir of wheelchair tires rolling on gravel. He sat up, wiping sweat and oil from his brow, and saw a girl, maybe 16, struggling to wheel herself closer. Her legs were thin, unmoving, her hair was tied in a ponytail, and she had the sharp, intelligent eyes of someone who noticed everything. "Excuse me," she said, her voice clear and polite. "Are you Mr. Samir?" He nodded, getting up and walking over. "Yes, that's me. How can I help you?" She gestured toward the street where an old, broken-down vintage convertible stood under the shadow of a neem tree. Its once vibrant red paint was now peeling. The windshield was cracked, the tires flat. "That's my car," she said. "Well, it was my father's. He passed away last year. I want to fix it. It's all I have left of him." Samir studied her face. There was sorrow there, but also strength. "It's a beautiful piece," he said, walking over to inspect it. "But fixing it won't be cheap. The parts alone." "I don't have much money," she said quickly. "I saved some from tutoring kids online. I know it's not enough, but I just need it to run again. I want to drive it, well, be driven in it, on my birthday next month." Samir glanced at the car again. It was a mess. The engine had rusted, the axles were stiff, the upholstery was torn. It would take weeks, maybe months. But he looked back at her, this girl in a wheelchair who had wheeled herself to his garage with a dream. And he made a decision. "Leave it here," he said. "Let me take a look. No promises, okay?" Her eyes brightened. "Thank you, truly." She introduced herself, Ela, and handed over a little brown envelope with some notes. "It's not much," she admitted. Samir didn't count it. He just nodded and shook her hand. "I'll do what I can." That night, Samir stayed late at the shop, the lights flickering above him as he took apart the convertible piece by piece. It was a vintage Fiat Spider, rare in this part of the world. As he worked, something stirred in him. A memory of sitting in the back of a similar car as a child, laughing with his own father before he disappeared from Samir's life forever. The next day, Ayla returned with a small box of muffins she had baked herself. To say thank you, she smiled. And so began their routine. Ayla would come each afternoon and watch as Samir worked. Sometimes she'd read aloud to him or just talk about her late father, how he used to take her on long drives to the countryside, how a car accident took both his life and her ability to walk. "I used to dance," she said one day, staring at the dusty sunlight through the garage window. "I used to run." Samir didn't say anything. He just kept tightening the belt on the alternator. "You know," she added, "I always believe some people come into your life for a reason, maybe to fix more than just broken cars." Samir paused, his hand frozen on the wrench. Days passed into weeks. Slowly the car began to come alive. Samir found rare parts through favors and scrapyards. He worked through fever and fatigue, refusing to take a single rupee more from Ayla. The seats were reupholstered with faux leather, the engine rebuilt, the cracked windshield replaced. On the night before Ayla's birthday, Samir sat behind the wheel and turned the ignition. It roared to life. He smiled for the first time in days. The next morning he woke early. He polished every inch of the car, tied a ribbon around the steering wheel, and waited. When Ayla arrived, her face lit up like the sky. "It's beautiful," she whispered. He opened the door for her and helped her in. "Ready for your birthday drive?" She laughed, tears slipping down her cheeks. Samir got behind the wheel and took her through the old roads her father once drove. She didn't speak much, just watched the trees blur past as the wind played with her hair. It was the first time she had smiled that fully in years. The next day, Samir returned to the garage to find a luxury black SUV parked outside. A woman in a tailored suit stood beside it, sunglasses hiding her eyes. Her aura screamed wealth and power. "You're Samir?" she asked. He nodded, confused. She removed her sunglasses. Her eyes were sharp, familiar. "I'm Ayla's mother." Samir blinked. "Oh, is she all right?" "She's more than all right. She hasn't been this happy since her father died." There was a pause. "I don't know what you did," the woman said, stepping closer, "but you brought her back to life." He shrugged awkwardly. "Just fixed her car." "No," she said, "you gave her something to live for again." She handed him a card. It was heavy, embossed with gold. "Come to this address tomorrow morning. You have a gift waiting. A thank you from me and my daughter." Before he could protest, she got back in the SUV and drove off, leaving Samir standing in the dust, staring down at the card that would change his life forever. The next morning, Samir stood outside the address written on the golden card. It didn't look like any office he'd ever seen. Towering gates opened to reveal a sprawling mansion, its white marble walls glowing in the morning sun. The garden was manicured like a movie set, fountains dancing in the breeze. Samir had never stepped foot in such a place. He adjusted the only collared shirt he owned, wiped his oil-stained hands nervously on his jeans, and stepped through the entrance. A uniformed guard guided him in. Inside, he was met by the same woman from yesterday, Ayla's mother, Maya Karim. Samir now recognized her. She was one of Pakistan's most powerful businesswomen, owner of a luxury automobile empire. Her name had been in headlines, but she looked different here. Not the icy CEO, but a mother trying to repay a debt no amount of money could truly cover. "Thank you for coming," Maya said, offering him a firm handshake. "Please sit." They sat across from each other in a sunlit lounge. "I owe you an explanation," she began. "After my husband died, I lost more than just a partner. I lost control of everything. My grief, my daughter's sadness, our connection. Ayla changed, stopped smiling, stopped trying." Samir remained quiet, listening. "But then, she met you. Every day she returned home with hope in her eyes. You didn't just fix a car, Mr. Samir. You healed a piece of her soul." Samir lowered his gaze. "She healed me too. I never knew I needed that." Maya smiled softly. "I believe in gratitude, and I believe in changing the lives of those who show true kindness without expecting anything in return." She gestured toward the hallway. "Come, let me show you something." She led him outside to a side garage. When the doors lifted, Samir froze. Inside was a modern auto workshop, sleek, high-tech, fully stocked. It looked like something out of a movie. Hydraulic lifts, digital diagnostic systems, toolkits he had only seen in catalogs. "This is yours," Maya said simply. Samir blinked. I don't understand." "This entire facility. It's part of my foundation's outreach. I want you to run it. You'll be the head mechanic, mentor apprentices, even customize luxury models if you'd like. And if you want to stay small and just fix people's cars with the same care you gave my daughters, that's fine too. It's yours." I can't accept this," Samir stammered. "It's too much." "It's not charity," Maya replied. "It's investment in character, in people like you." He looked around again, still in disbelief. Ayla rolled in just then, smiling wide. "Mom said you might be stubborn," she teased. "But please say yes. You deserve this. You made me feel like my legs didn't matter, like I could still chase dreams." Samir looked at her, at the car behind her, at the woman who had built empires but stood humbly before him, and he realized something. His whole life had been about surviving. This was a chance to start living. "I'll do it," he said quietly. Then louder, "Yes, I'll do it." Within weeks, the workshop was renamed Samir Auto Care, a Dream Restored. News spread fast, not because of Maya's name, but because people loved the story of the quiet mechanic who once fixed a disabled girl's car for free and was now running one of the best-equipped workshops in the city. People came from nearby villages and big cities alike. Samir hired 3 apprentices, young boys from poor backgrounds, just like he had once been. He taught them not just how to turn wrenches, but how to treat customers with dignity. Ayla visited often. She would sit in the corner, sketching designs of modified cars that could be driven without legs, inspired by her dream of mobility. Samir and one of the engineers began turning her sketches into real vehicles, affordable ones for disabled people across Pakistan. Their first prototype was gifted to a young boy in a wheelchair from Rahim Yar Khan. The day the boy drove his own car for the first time, Ayla cried. Samir did too. Months passed. One evening, after the shop closed, Samir sat beside Ayla on a bench outside. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and gold. "You know," she said, "I think my father would have liked you." Samir smiled. "I would have liked him too." A pause. Then she turned to him, her voice soft. "I may not walk again, and I've made peace with that, but every day since you came into my life, I feel like I'm moving forward." He didn't say anything. He just held her hand, gently, respectfully. And for the first time in a long time, neither of them felt broken. A year later, Samir Auto Care had expanded into 3 cities. Ayla's car modification program had gained national attention. Maya Karim officially handed full ownership of the workshops to Samir. On the anniversary of the day she first rolled into his dusty old garage, Ayla brought a cake. It read, "To the man who fixed more than just a car." As candles flickered and his apprentices clapped and sang, Samir stood beside Ayla, overwhelmed. And in that moment, surrounded by grease, laughter, love, and second chances, he realized this wasn't the end of a story. It was just the beginning.